living proof. It's pretty safe to say. God give it, God take it away. It's the worldwide American way. I'm living proof.
What's going on, team? Proof here, and today I'm coming at you with the next deck sample. I was gonna do this one on Rising Supernova, a non-Crazy 8 build, and thanks to some of my friends, I also have some other decks from set 13, such as Thavas, Blue Waves, Overlord, etc. So before I get into this one, let me know in the future if you want me to just finish out any other spike decks I might want to show, or if you want me to incorporate some of the Aquaforce and other clans intermittently. So maybe I'll do like this one, then Thavas, and then another spike one, and then Overlord, something like that. Or if you want me to do all spikes first that I have in mind, and then all of next clan, all of Aquaforce, all Kagero, etc. So let me know down below, and then I'll try to I'll plan my schedule around doing those for everybody, just so I can maybe vary it up, or just to get everything out all at one time. So let me know. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and hop into the Rising Supernova sample deck. And this one here, as I said, isn't focused on Hellhard 8. It's kind of using all your charge pieces as a unit to make use of your Rising Supernova or your Great Star skills and all your different stride skills along the way. And for the deck itself, our starter is always the boy, Mecha King. As I like to say, Mecha is King, Mecha Trainer. I'm not going to put this in the text section, but you can make use of other starters here as well, maybe in the main deck, if you try to cut space for it. But I would always use Mecha Trainer as your starter, just because his flexibility is too good to pass up along the way. And then for triggers, we got 8 crit here, just to maximize pressure, because we don't have as big of a combo through Hellhard 8. Like, we can still use it, but it's not as big of a driving force for the deck itself. And you want to try to put that pressure on your opponent before they get the jump on you, per se. 4 draw trigger, just to help get that draw along the way, and because he can push the soul and add soul that way and get power 20 or other units, which is really useful. And I thought about the heal triggers here, and I thought a 2-2 split might be good, just because Linus here, if you go into big Linus, is really good for soul, because you have more emphasis on Miracle Ace in this deck, and that extra soul can help out with your Miracle Ace calls or your Mayhem Tigers and stuff like that. And then 2 Lindsay here, just because her ability to bind 2 of your heals to soul charge 1, or soul charge or to counter charge, might come in handy, assuming you don't use one of your heals for Linus and get the soul that way. It's kind of an odd mix, but I think it could work. And there wasn't a chance for me to use it per se, but hey, options. And then we got 4 Cunning Brain, just because his ability is really good and it's better than Millie for using his ability. 3 Stride Fighter and Acrobat, just because we don't need to have 4 in this particular deck, just because we have the 8 grade 3s here, and we can stride pretty consistently that way. 3 Frog, because he's super important to have, and you want to not run out of them along the way, even though we have Guss in the deck. 3 Fake Bomber, because he's more of an important piece in this deck, just for enabling combo extension and being able to get that counter charge for the Soul Blast 2 costs. For the grade 2s, got 4 Cheetah, just because I still think it's a really important grade 2 to have for your Agrius turns, because it can help recoup cards if you ride Great Star. 4 Bruggard, because he's really good if your Vanguard, or in this case, in a non-Hellhard 8 deck, because it helps all your other strides, your Agrius, your Picaros, your Miracle Aces, just get that extension off. And the Counter Blast cost it's heavy, but you can make better use of it, especially when you combo it with the Great Star. 2 Axe Diver, just to maybe enable first try Miracle Ace 10k, if that, or a Miracle Ace 10k in general, if you need it to work for you in that fashion. 2 Mayhem Tiger, just because he's still a big threat to have and your opponent to stare down at it. You want to make sure, I would always have at least 2 in your deck, just for that threat of having your opponent at 5 and having a lot of soul to work with. For your grade 3s, 4 Rising Supernova, because just for, and 4 Rising Great Star for that ride consistency. You don't have to worry about using Acrobat as much, getting yourself a Rising Vanguard, because you have all grade 3s as Rising. I would still You can argue that Great Star is better or Rising Nova is better, but just for this case of the sample deck, I wanted to showcase having all 8 of them, at least for when you're starting out the deck, and then you can work on your ratios from there. And for the stride zone here, we have 4 Agrius here, because I think he's still your best first stride option, just to give you multi-attacking, card draw, just that pressure on your opponent, and it gets to reuse your charge units better than Supernova. 2 Supernova, just because you can still enable that 10k, and it's a free flip if you need it, if you need to use up all your Counter Blast for other purposes. 2 Miracle Ace, because he's much better in this deck, because you have more uses of Bruggard, you have Rising Nova as your Vanguard to more freely use his skill to help enable his GB3. 1 Picaro, because obviously you should have 1 Picaro, and its ability to refill your board for 1 card in hand and the Counter Blast is really useful against your more control heavy opponents. 1 Hellhard 8, just in case you get to it, you can always want to have your GB8 available. A Sebreeze, just to unlock GB1 for you, and it puts more freedom into your G-Guard use into the future. 2 Linus here, because you need to have that big guard available, and Linus is easily one of the more efficient flipping G-Guards. 2 Guss, because Guss is amazing and it helps you refill your charge units, helps get heal triggers and other triggers back to your deck, leading into your Picaro turn or something like that. And then 1 Agleam / Ractome, just because I think that filter is always helpful, and it can help you dig 1 piece deeper for a charge unit going into your Miracle Ace turn. It can help you dig for stride fodder if you're missing, so you don't have to stride with 2 cards, etc. And yeah, that's the deck. And I'm gonna go into the text now, and this deck is so varied in what you could do with it. It has a lot of flexibility and options that I don't want to give you everything, because that'd make the video way longer than it needed to be, but I do want to give you a handful of them. I'll give you 3 that you can think about going into the future. And the first one is going to be, you take out 2 Rising Nova for 2 Hive Maker. And the reason for that is, from my use of the deck, Rising Nova really only came into play if you were going into Miracle Ace, and even without that, excuse me, you still had means to activate Miracle Ace through your Rising Great Stars or through something like Axe Diver. You still had the means to activate it without needing Rising Nova. It's still useful for that because it helps build soul while you get your charge unit out to enable your combo. But beyond Rise, and it's also good for Supernova, but you have free use of Mecha Trainer into Acrobat to get your preferred Rising Nova that I don't think 4 is necessary. And Hive Maker here can definitely enable your combo extension, and it's really good just for your Picaro turn if you have spare CB to use and help get your cards out of your hand, and it's nice to combo with your fake bombers, etc. Second option is going to be taking out 2 Lyre Lips for either 2 Double Watch or 2 other draw triggers for trigger lineup differentiation. And that's more coming down to what the player wants to do. If they value Double Watch's counter charge option for like your Miracle Ace turns, it's really good for Bruggard as a call during the Miracle Ace turn, and it just kind of opens up your combo flexibility a little bit to help get your CC back. However, if you're like me and don't like stand triggers at all in your charge-based deck, you can go for more draw triggers just to help give you more options to draw cards into your hand. So that's more of a player option there. And the third one is is also an option. Of course, these are all options. But this one here is taking out the 2 Axe Diver and 1 Bomber to put in 2 Air Force Eliza and 1 Mayhem Tiger. And if you played the deck around GBT-09, you knew that the Trips Tiger formation was really strong and a really nice option to go to. And going this way puts 3 Tiger and 2 Eliza into your deck to help enable that. And to me, it's arguably better than the Supernova 10K because it's less hand intensive. It's less counterblast heavy because it takes 2 counterblasts to set up the whole formation, and it's just a really strong high pressure low resource investment turn in my opinion. So if you want to go back to that while still having the rest of your deck be what it is, I want to present that as an option to you. So that'll do it for the deck. That'll do it for this sample deck here. Let me know if you have any questions below. Again, this deck is very player friendly in terms of letting you turn your clay into what you want it to be. So you can try out the sample deck here, then you can try out my tech options here, and then if you like them or don't like them, you can just keep playing with it along the way. So yeah, that'll do it for me. Look out for more. Look out for the future deck samples that I have coming out. Look out for the future deck gameplay videos I have. And until next time, peace. Be easy.